Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers are alarmed at a lack of information coming from the administration on whether the United States is prepared to combat any attempts by Russia to interfere in the 2018 election. There has been conflicting information from the executive branch on whether Russia is attempting to play a role in November, when Republicans could lose their grip on both houses of Congress and President Donald Trump could find his agenda on the rails. "We're getting so many mixed signals, depending on what the agency is," said Senate Intelligence Chairman Richard Burr, a Republican who is planning to convene a summit next month with intelligence officials. "It compels us to bring everybody together in the same room and try to figure out whether or not there's some stovepipe issues." Representative Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, was even more frustrated. "What we would normally see in a normal administration is the principals meeting to discuss what are they doing individually, what are they doing jointly, or what they are communicating amongst themselves. What's the whole of government plan to protect the midterms?" Schiff told the news website. "I just don't see any evidence that's happening." Share this article. Share lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are concerned lessons haven't been learned from the bumbling in 2016 when Russian trolls hacked into the Democratic National Committee's email and into those of Hillary Clinton's campaign manager Tony Podesta. Intelligence officials failed to share information or warnings headed into that contest, which saw Trump win the Oval Office. Afterward, U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an extensive influence operation to undermine the election, with the eventual aim of helping Trump and hurting Clinton, Politico noted. Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee have petitioned for a detailed, classified briefing on any possible Russian threats. However, that request has gotten some pushback from the intelligence community, Schiff said. He said officials had argued that Coates, along with Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen and FBI Director Chris Wray, had already given an all-hands briefing to House members last month. "That isn't sufficient," Schiff said. The government is working to secure the safety of the American ballot box. The Federal Election Assistance Commission has set aside $380 million to help states make security improvements at the polls, and many states have invested their own funds into election system upgrades. And DHS officials are working closely with states on safeguarding voting systems and monitoring for attempts to tamper with election infrastructure, such as voter registration databases and connected systems. But lawmakers fret the U.S. isn't prepared if Moscow launches another multifaceted effort as it did in 2016.